Talk about low-budget flights. No food or movies? I'm out of here. I like running better. Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to another video. So, I've been in Ninjago mood lately, and I thought, why not talk about Ninjago? There's one specific topic about the series I've been thinking about for a while and meaning to make a video about for a while, but I'm only getting around to it now. And that is, Ninjago has multiple finales. Because, the show has gone on for so long, and actually just points where you could say, that is a good spot for it to end, or you could say that was actually how it was supposed to end until it got continued. So I thought, why not talk about that and give my thoughts on which ones do I think make for the best finale, which ones do I not, and which seasons I just think that were not intended to be the ending could have been good endings. Before we continue, I'd like to remind you all to like and subscribe and check out my Letterboxd and Serialized. Without further ado, Ninjago, and let's dive on in. So, Season 2 is pretty well known, obviously. This is where Ninjago was supposed to end originally. Only 2 seasons, that's it. That's how much it was supposed to get. And while I'm sure we're all glad the show continued from there, this is a great finale. I mean, since this was intended to be the finale from the very start, it's great. You've got the ninja getting their cool elemental blades with their new costumes. Because one thing I find interesting about that is that, yeah, they get their ZX costumes about halfway through season 1, and since this was intended, season 2 is intended to be it, they stay like that until season 2 is almost over. Because those were their costumes. That's how they were supposed. Those where their outfits are. That's just plain. That's how they look for most of Ninjago until the very end. Which is why them getting new outfits in Season 2 doesn't really feel like it's made to sell toys, but instead feels like an actual story event. But everything to do with the Golden Ninja, the Prophecy, Garmadon, the Stone Warriors being this ultimate unbeatable army, the Overlord, it just feels like this grand epic. And traveling to the Dark Island and having to leave Ninjago and all that. It's really good stuff. Lloyd's battle with the Overlord Dragon is awesome. I'm sure we can all agree on that. And it just ends on a really satisfying note. Yeah, well, I'm definitely glad the show continued from here. This is an amazing finale. Now, I know seasons 4 and 5 weren't meant to be the ending of Ninjago, but I'd say this is where Ninjago peaked, and I think a lot of other people can agree. It's been 10 years since these seasons came out, oh boy. So I've heard some people say this and I agree, which is that they should have taken the Moro cliffhanger out of season 4. Not just because it kind of dilutes the way season 4 ended, as in just we can't just say this is season 4, this ends. We have to leave it in a little cliffhanger for the next season, which yeah, got me excited back in the day, but it still was pretty unnecessary. But if you take out that, season 4 is a pretty perfect ending for Ninjago. Garmadon finally makes peace with his past. He is technically the one to save the day. Ninja find out about the Elemental Masters. We get some lore about the Serpentine. It feels pretty conclusive. The ending of season 4 just never fails to amaze. Garmadon's sacrifice and his funeral at the end and building his face into the corridor of elders. Yeah, it just feels like an ending. Season 5 too is also because I've said this before probably, but I'll say it again. I think the first 5 seasons of Ninjago are actually perfect. I have thought that for years and I will continue to say so. It's not just nostalgia talking because I used to not like season 4 that much when it came out. I thought it was decent, but when I watched it again a few years after, I thought it was amazing. Yeah, I still do. Season 3 I used to also just think was pretty good, but yeah, I love season 3 now. It's not nostalgia talking. It's I can just genuinely look at these and say, this is good writing. This for season 5 anyway. Yeah, I think it's a great finale. We get the lore about the 16 realms, the preeminent, Nia joins a ninja, her true potential. We get some backstory for Sensei Wu and how he connects to Moro and all that. We get some cool new abilities like Air Jitsu, we learn about that, the Sword of Sanctuary, Ronin. Lloyd finally makes ultimate peace with his father and says, well, he's on the path to becoming a sensei, which never really goes anywhere, but yeah, I just think season 5 would be a cool ending. It'd be nice to have a show that is legitimately perfect all the way through, wouldn't it? Okay, those kinds of shows do exist, but there aren't too many of them. And yeah, I'm still glad Ninjago continued from here, but I'm just saying that season 5 really would have been a pretty perfect ending. Okay, season 10 is an actual ending for the show, and when March of the Oni first released, I wasn't too big on it. I thought it was okay, but nothing special. But when I rewatched it, I thought, wow, this was really good. And yeah, as I continue to rewatch it, I think season 10 is really good. I'd say it's not quite as good as season 9, but it's still way better than season 8. Yeah, I'm not that big a fan of Sons of Garmnon, which I have said multiple times before. But I think March of the Oni is great. And yeah, this was written as Ninjago, a finale for Ninjago. Last season with the with Will Film animating it. May the studio rest in peace. You guys animated our childhoods. Um, the Hagen brothers' final involvement as they had some story credits. I mean, they are writing that live action Ninjago movie, but whatever. Um, what else? Oh yeah, the murals. The last season to do the previously on Ninjago. I wish they kept that. They also kept the episode number being listed and all that. And yeah, well, season 10 is definitely not this grand epic finale that would be deserving of Ninjago. It still works because even though it's pretty short, it still feels like a big deal. The Oni finally return, the ninja team up with Garmon, who gets some really nice development. I love the intro showing each of the previous seasons. And while I have to say it's cool they showed the Dark Island trilogy, couldn't they have shown Day of the Departed instead? Like, why did they skip that? That's a important part of Ninjago. More important than a admittedly good but also pretty pointless book series that doesn't really add much, cool as it was. But like it's good. I mean, the ninja do the tornado of creation at the end to defeat the Oni. You can't get much cooler than that for how to end Ninjago. And yeah, I just really like season 10. It just feels like a good conclusion. Maybe I might not have liked it that much at the time, but I really have grown to appreciate it. And Ninja get the golden weapons again. They don't really do much, but that was really cool. Like we get Cyrus Works Hall of Fan Service, the armor of the Golden Master, the Sword of Sanctuary. This is a good finale to Ninjago. But then there is what is actually Ninjago's finale. Dragons Rising is a different show. That I've never watched it. I probably never will watch it. This crystallizes the actual ending to Ninjago. I only ever talked about Crystallized once, which is when I ranked every season, and boy, there's a lot to say about Crystallized, which is that I think we can all agree the first half was great. It was the second half where the season really stumbled. I will say this: the first 7 episodes, maybe 6, 7 episodes, I'm not sure how much entirely, I wouldn't change anything about them. They're great. Do I think Lloyd quitting the team is a little lame considering in the beginning, considering he's the one ninja in season 4 who didn't quit? Yes. Do I think well, I guess I kind of get Jane Kai. Cole didn't actually give up on the team. Zane did, which I feel like he wouldn't do that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think Zane would do that. But I think Crystallized had a lot of great ideas. The return of the Overlord. A lot of old stuff comes back with the golden weapons, the old villains. The problem is just none of this stuff is done as well as it could be. For one, I think I never liked Ronan being evil in season 14. So his character arc here is just so rushed and lame, and I just wish they didn't even acknowledge. Probably better to just not acknowledge him. Or if they did, have some story out he's saying that, I used to be friends with these guys. Then I went behind their backs during the whole the island, and I became a criminal again. I shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna help these guys because they're my friends. That would have been way more interesting than I know we're all criminals, but Ninja have saved the world so many times. We should go help them. No. Get rid of Fugitive, please. He's not funny. He's boring. As for the returning villains, it always annoyed me that the Overlord is still voiced by Scott McNeil, which, that's great, but his voice is completely different. He doesn't sound like this anymore! He sounds more like this. He doesn't sound like an evil Dinobot, now he just sounds like an evil Silverbolt. It's not a bad voice, it's just, why does he sound like that? Could Scott McNeil not do the voice anymore? Did the voice directors for some reason say change it? I don't know. I think Harumi returning was a horrible idea. They explained her revival well. I just don't think she should have come back. Um, what else? I think Pythor should have been the Vengestone buyer. That would have been way more satisfying, way more interesting. And you could take the voice budget you now have from Harumi and replace Mr. F with General Cryptor and have General Cryptor speak. But you've also got rid of Harumi, so you've got rid of one less villain, one less character animate. You can put more budget into other stuff. I don't mind the villains they did pick. Like, when most of them are dead, it's kind of hard to, you don't have many good options. Like, yeah, Pythor, you have to have him here. Skull Sorcerer, he's a great new villain, but Asphira and the Mechanic are not that good, but I think they were actually handled pretty well and crystallized, so I'm not too mad about them coming back. I think it would have been better if Nia just didn't regain her powers. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think it would be better to just make it feel more final. Lloyd's just awful. But yeah, he's saying how, yeah, God, Oni are pure evil. They can't be good. For a season that's supposed to remember so much in Ninjago's past, did you just not remember Mistake? She was really important. And then I heard Duckbrick say in his crystallized review that, the Golden Ultra Dragon set had Oni Lloyd in the set, but he had 2 arms and he was riding the Golden Dragon. So we thought, oh, Lloyd will beat the Overlord by combining the destructive power of the Oni with the creation powers of the Golden Ultra Dragon, and that will be by combining creation and destruction, having true balance. That is the only way you can finally defeat the Overlord. But no, Lloyd comes in Oni for 50 seconds, is afraid of his reflection in the mirror, and then just beats the Overlord with the Golden Ultra Dragon. Which, yeah, it looks cool. I have to say the whole final battle atop the Crystal King's palace is pretty awesome, but I love the bit where the Overlord says to Garnum that he was the one who planted the Devourer and turned it evil all those years ago. I think that makes perfect sense. I mean, in Season 2, he says, I've been planning this for thousands of years. So it makes sense that he would have been the one to turn the Devourer evil. So it's actually pretty cool to get a revelation like that so late. But, yeah, it's just, I think maybe the finale also could have used some more classic Ninjago music. There are a lot of edits of Crystallized final episode that do stuff like adding in flashbacks when the ninja are all saying, to the end. I really like that touch. They added the do 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 at the end, or the Weekend Whip. Or when Lloyd actually fights the Overlord for the final time, they play the do 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 do. That's the Green Ninja theme. And other problems too, like I think the Return of the Ice Emperor episode subplot was pretty lame, and yeah, I'm basically just turning this into a whole Crystallized review, which there's a lot to say about Crystallized. Like how Kai and Skylar apparently aren't together? When did that happen? I always thought they were supposed to be. Did they just decide to retcon that for no reason? Yeah. There were some other cool bits about Crystal I did like Sensei Buu wearing the golden dragon armor to fight the Overlord. Although he's only wearing the chest plate and using the sword. I don't know what happened to the rest of it. I love the golden weapons came back. The ninja jump up, kick back, whip around, spin to unlock their dragon forms is really cheesy, but it's awesome. Their dragon forms are awesome. They get to wield the golden weapons again. That's cool. I think the ninja going to jail was actually handled pretty well, much better than Skybound. And yeah, there is a lot about this season I do genuinely really like and wouldn't change. But then there are other things that could have been great were just so mishandled. I remember watching the final episode of Crystallized with my brother, and we said this. That wasn't terrible, but I said, for the finale of a show we've been watching for most of our lives, that it also has been running for 11 years, the finale can't be mediocre. It has to be great. And the first half was great. So you naturally have high expectations. So when it ends with a way that just feels so anticlimactic, it just is disappointing. So yeah, I do think this could have been a great finale to Ninjago. It just wasn't. So in conclusion, Ninjago has had quite a lot of seasons that either were intended to be the end or could be used as the end. And I think that's just an interesting idea. Because many cartoons don't even get real endings. They get canceled before they were supposed to be, or the creators have to rush an ending. Very few times do you get a show that has multiple endings. The only other one I can think of is Justice League. Technically, that's two shows. They had the ending of Justice League, then they did Justice League Unlimited, which has two endings. Any other shows did that? I guess the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that wasn't really it ended twice so much as the fifth season was just more of an epilogue that wrapped up a lot of unresolved plot threads. Season 5 of that show was just made to show. The creator said, I want season 5 to prove to Nickelodeon that the Turtles can do anything. I guess the 2003 Turtle show also had multiple endings. I guess any other shows that have multiple cartoons that have multiple endings. Teen Titans has two. Seasons 4, and then they got an extra season with season 5. So yeah, that was just. Oh, Sonic X has two endings, but yeah, this was a fun video to make. Leave a comment what you thought about it, and remember to stay way past cool.